We bring you the power.
Domlec is keeping you updated as we work to restore full generation capacity. Join us every Monday and Friday at 12 noon on DBS Radio, Kyrie FM, and Voice of Life Radio, and at 12:30 p.m. on Q95 and DA Vibes for updates on our progress for more reliable and efficient service. Tune in every Monday and Friday.
We bring you the.
On that note, we say good afternoon to Adina Bellot Valentine. Adina, good afternoon. Adina, you're muted. Adina, if you're hearing me,
move, and we're back, in the load shedding mode. What happened? What's happening?
Okay, yes, and yes, and many things have been said about that and so on, you know. But that's fine. We had an incident on the Penstock pipeline, supplying the Neutral Cargo power station. I think the public should have been aware of that. We had a press release on that.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
We fell on that pipe on the wood state. It's wood. The pipe got broken and pieces of that wood got into a part on the generator that prevented it from being used at its full capacity. So it was a 1.7 megawatt unit, and we could only do 700 kilowatts on that unit. In addition to other units we had unavailable. So that reduced our capacity to meet the load by 1 megawatt. And so we were load shedding just before the independence celebration, coming into the independence celebration. So what we did was to get some experts from Europe, from Andino Engineering. They're the ones who actually assembled the units, and we had no experience in doing that scope of work. It was quite a bit of work to dismantle the sections of the hydro to retrieve this piece of wood. So we did that, and we expected that job would have taken 5 days. That's just before the Independence Day Creole Festival. We expect that it would have taken about 5 days. They took 3.5 days to get that job done. So after that was done, we had an additional megawatt of capacity available to the system.
Good.
And that's why we were able to avert any kind of, or prevent any kind of load shedding during the festive season, the Creole Festival, and even the Independence season. And thereafter, we were doing quite well. The full capacity of the hydro, well, not the full, but at least 1.2 megawatts of the hydro was available to the system. Even if we had some issues with our diesel, and so. But subsequent to that, we had the event that took off, the slide that came and just washed away the pipes and so on. And
that was on November 7th, I think.
Yeah, somewhere there.
Yeah.
So that took off the entire Neutral Cargo plant. So at present, when that occurred, we were without any of the units at the Neutral Cargo plant. So we were short of 1.7 megawatts, and then when the other 1.7 that we had available, that was no longer available to us. So that put us again into a position where we couldn't meet the demand on the system. So further to that, most recently, so we had to revert to load shed. It wasn't as extensive as it is now, but further to that, and most recently, we had an issue at the Fonkoli power station, where what we refer to as the auxiliaries that supplies the generators, components of the generators, so that they can run properly, like the cooling fans and the battery system for protection and so forth. We had that issue there, and that further exacerbated the whole issue of capacity and being able to meet the demand on the system. So we had to go into more load shedding. It took us some time to get it resolved, and that is what that really caused us to do more load shedding over the past week. Okay, so not only did that took up one unit, it took up the largest unit that we have, the FC5. Then we had the FC number 4 that came off because of that, and we had to take off the number 6 unit.
So we was to do the repairs.
Right. Yeah. So that's a total of close to close to 4 megawatts that were unavailable to us again.
For the last for a few days.
And that lasted for a few days.
Yeah.
But we have that resolved, and right now we still have the hydro units unavailable. So the load shedding will continue because of those issues that we are experiencing now.
Daryl, we hear comments of, why is it taking so long to have this pipe repaired? People seem to think that it is a simple solution to just put the pipe back and let the water run through the pipe. Just give us an idea of the scope of work that has to be undertaken in order to get that pipe repaired, to get the Trafalgar units flowing again. Somebody has their thing open. Voice of Life, can you please mute your device, please? Darren, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yes, Adina. The terrain in that area is challenging. In fact, okay, Adina. The terrain in that area is a challenging area. It's really a rugged place with a lot of boulders, huge stones, and so. In fact, there are certain sections. There are certain sections of the pipeline coming from the cliff, we call it the cliff face, that comes down, that's already encased in concrete. And that was done when the pipes were being placed in from inception, when the project was going on, because some excavation was taking place there, and there was a slide. So prudence required that you encapsulate that section of the pipe, put that section of the pipe in concrete, because you really wouldn't want to go back in there and do repairs. Here we had the slide. The slide that cliff face is about close to about 150 feet away from the pipe, but it's about 150 feet high likewise. So when it came down, it took that off and brought down quite a bit of stone, some huge boulders. And so the excavator had to go in there and remove all those boulders and actually, make a route to go in there to commence working on these pipes. The pipes that we have, they are 40 feet. So it takes what we had before with 10 feet, but what we have installed with 40 feet. So that's additional weight and additional work to get those pipes installed. In addition to that, there were some supports for these pipes that actually got washed away. Some got damaged. Those that were damaged, we just repaired those. But those that got washed away, we had to redo them from scratch. So the foundation for the support that has been done, all the steel work has been completed. The contractor should be completing the footing today for the support, pouring the concrete there today, and let it set. So sometime next week, we are going to complete the support for that pipe. I'm going to pour all the concrete to complete the support for that pipe. But I also want to inform the public too, that we have observed that we have some other issues on other
Mhm.
sections of the pipe, and that
Yeah.
is one of the most difficult areas to work in on that entire pipeline, and that's where we call the cliff face. Now,
Mhm.
that work must be done, and before we put water into that pipe, before we charge that pipe again, we are going to undertake that work. So we would not have to go back and look at that section of the pipe in a very long time. So that scope of work, that's an additional scope of work, additional work that has to be done that will further prolong the unavailability of the New Trafalgar power station. So that's it for New Trafalgar. We're really looking at probably the second week in December for the New Trafalgar station to be fully available for generation again. But
This means, Daryl, that we are using more diesel for the production of electricity, which means, of course, it's going to have an impact on the fuel surcharge. So the longer we have those hydro units out, the more fuel that we have to use in order to be able to provide our customers with electricity, and hence the impact on the fuel surcharge.
yes, I know that's correct. But that's
Mhm.
what that's those that work that's what we must do. We need to do it, and that's why while the new Trafalgar station is out and the pipe is drained, we're going to use the opportunity to get that work done and get it over with.
One would probably be keen to ask, why is it all of a sudden that we need to do that work? Why couldn't it have been done before? Or is it now that we're discovering that that work needs to be done?
We did some inspection on that pipe sometime earlier this year, and that was identified as work that has to be done. So in under any circumstances, whether it's done now, while we had that well, we this event provided us an opportunity to do it. Otherwise, we would have to take up the plant anyway. It would have to be off completely to get that work done, because the pipes has to be drilled completely to get that work done on the cliff face. So the opportunity presents itself now under not so nice circumstances, but
Not at
while,
all.
while it's up, we're just going to use the opportunity to do that one time.
Daryl, it seems like for us there's no relief in sight. What can you tell us? I mean, some persons would say, we can't catch a break. We went from one to the other to the other to the other. And at the end of the day, we are not able to provide the kind of service that our customers demand of us. I mean, when are we going to get some relief as far as that is concerned?
As somebody sees, when it pours, it rains.
When it rains, it pours.
Rains, it pours. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we had these circumstances, particularly those that affected the hydro, because the hydro, once we have those units running, it's base load power. It's available all the time, um, depending on the amount of water that we have. Yes, that will affect the output. But once those units are available, doesn't matter how much water you have and how much capacity you can get on it, it's available, whether it's at full capacity or 50%. You know, so that has significantly affected us. So we are presently just pursuing all the work that needs to be done on that section of the pipe, so that we can have neutral power available in the quickest possible time.
That we promised the public a few weeks ago that we would have some rental capacity on island. What can you tell us? What is the status? Are we in the right direction as far as that is concerned?
Well, I can report some good news, some very good news. The units are on island. The units are on site where they are, where we intended to have them installed. Right now, all the works are taking place. The wire conductors are being run to connect the units onto the system. I cannot see us having too many challenges, except when you come to commission the units to actually put them onto the system. Usually you have one to little hiccups that you may have to figure out and so on, before it is finally on the grid for an extensive period of time. But I am confident by the end of this month, we should have these units available to run onto the network. And that's 3 megawatts of capacity that will bring a serious relief. And that load shedding should be significantly reduced when those units are commissioned.
You say you're confident. We've sometimes heard those words before that we've been promising to get things in line. Yes, the Agreco units are here. You said you don't expect, any much delay in really getting those units onto the grid, and so we can start utilizing those units by the end of the month. That way, we're going to hold you to that. So by the end of the month, we need to have the Agreco units online and working so we can relieve the plight of our customers, and then we can see a better functioning business as far as the provision of electricity is concerned. At this point, I'm not sure if any of the persons who are carrying have any questions. If you do, probably just raise your hand and we can take a question or two while Mr. Darampo is on. If there are no questions, I don't see any hands up. Okay, Daryl, so let us just recap in the next few minutes. In terms of the load shedding, we expect to see that continue. How long are we continuing to see load shedding?
Until the Agreco units
Okay,
commission, I believe we will continue to see the load shedding. On the weekends, it will be less because the load is reduced on the weekends and so forth as compared to as during the week. So we should be seeing less load shedding over the weekend. As I mentioned, the weekend. I know on Sunday we have the cricket
World Cup.
World Cup finals and Christmas is concerned.
Yes.
We still have capacity issues. As I just mentioned at the hydro, we have a unit down at Ponkole, the FC11 that's unavailable, and we expect we will have some load shedding. We will do our best to see how we can minimize that as much as possible. I just looked at the forecast for Sunday. It's one small area during the day, but it will in the nighttime because the demand for power on a Sunday nighttime goes up a little.
Yeah.
So we will see a little more on Sunday, but there very likely there will be load shedding on Sunday.
Yeah.
We will try our utmost to minimize that load shedding so persons can enjoy the World Cup cricket match.
I'm sure everybody will be glued to the television sets. They want to be glued to the television sets to catch this sporting highlight. So as you indicated, we'll try as much as possible, to minimize as all things being equal, as long as our machines remain intact and we're able to get through with minimal disruption to capacity issues, then we will see very minimal load shedding for Sunday. Daryl, as usual, it has been a pleasure having you as my guest. I'm sure you'll be back here sooner rather than later, because you are the restoration coordinator. You are the man who should or who is overseeing that, all things being equal, all things fall into place quickly, and that's so that we can really get out of the situation that we are in, because really it's not good for us as a company. And the financial viability of the company, is under scrutiny at this point because, of all this load shedding. And people seem to think that, we take joy in turning off the power, but no, we don't. We certainly do not want to have the power out. We want to have your supply 24/7, what you are used to. And I'm sure, Daryl, within a few weeks or so, we should be back, to be able to supply the needs of our customers.
Yes, Alina. We should, in a few weeks, we should be better. And as you rightly said, we are in the business to supply electricity.
That's right.
We understand it's a necessity.
That's right.
The people need electricity for so many different reasons. So we are not trying to make things difficult for persons. we are experiencing some challenges now. That's what it
Yeah.
is. That we're
Yeah.
working to try to resolve the issues that we are experiencing now, so that we can become that reliable company. That
Yeah.
So I take this opportunity to apologize to the public, and again, just ask them to be a little tolerant and have some patience
Yeah.
as we go through the challenges that we are experiencing.
Yeah. It's not easy to be tolerant because all of us want our service,
Yes, yes.
I mean, it's
know,
not it's not easy to be
I
tolerant,
just,
but
just
because I
one.
mean, we too feel the
Yeah,
pinch of not having power. I mean, there are days we go home and we don't have power for
yeah,
hours like everybody else. So we're feeling the pinch as well. And whatever we do, we do with our customers in mind. So we try as much as possible to minimize the outages as best we possibly can. But Daryl, it has been great talking to you as usual. Thank you again. And of course, have a pleasant weekend, a great weekend.
thanks.
I hope you can watch the game on Sunday uninterrupted.
Hopefully,
Thank you to
I-
all those who have brought this with us. Q95, DBS Radio, Kyrie FM, Voice of Life Radio, DA Vibes. Of course, join us again on Monday for another such program. And from all of us at Domlec, have a pleasant day and a blessed weekend. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We bring you the power.
Domlec is keeping you updated as we work to restore full generation capacity. Join us every Monday and Friday at 12 noon